Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tuloyani. This is the Daily Fix. We tell it as it is. We simply tell it like it is. Yesterday, let me begin by what I promised yesterday, because a promise a man makes is a promise a man must keep. I promised that I would bring you know, part of the information or part of the conversations that I would have with Steve for today. And I remember I was so adamant about it all that come rain or sunshine, I will get in touch with Steve for and talk to Steve for discuss things around his own problems, his trials and so on, and also more importantly, issues around the Meyiwa investigation and the Meyiwa trial in general terms. I have not been able to do that. I have been making frantic efforts, one frantic effort after another to get hold of Tifo. But up to now, my efforts have not yielded anything tangible to talk about today. But there's always something to talk about. I would like to focus on the first accused. The first accused person in this trial is Muzi Sibiya. We all know that Muzi Sibiya was being represented by advocate Tulani Mgomezulu, who has just passed away and will be buried in Katlehong tomorrow on Saturday. Today on Saturday, rather. I want to shift my focus on Muzi Sibiya just as a typical of the example of what I'm talking about. Sometimes, the focus of a trial moves away from the real players in the trial itself. In other words, we are talking about docket 375, docket whatever, and including docket 000. We forget the main players, the people who are the real victims in whatever it is we are trying to bring to bring to the attention of everybody in South Africa. We forget the real players like Muzi Sibiya. Muzi Sibiya's lawyer has passed away, we all know. But what is most astonishing and what amazed me is that Muzi Sibiya was given a deadline of yesterday. He was given a deadline of Friday by which time he should have made an application to the Legal Aid Board for legal representation. That gave him about 48 hours to do that. And I said to myself, what an injustice. What an injustice. And I expected, some of the lawyers involved in this matter to say, but this will not be allowed to happen. Even if, they are not going to be, they are not going to end up representing him as such, but they ought to have said, this poor fellow, this man needs legal representation and he needs to be given time within which to decide on such legal representation. Getting legal representation is not just like walking into a shop in a mall and buying yourself a cap. It's not as simple as all that. This trial has got its own peculiarities, which we talk about every day. Muzi Sibiya, just put yourself in the shoes of Muzi Sibiya. Muzi Sibiya is incarcerated without bail, under some of the toughest conditions imaginable. And the passing away of his legal representative is bound to have, a huge impact on him psychologically, given that he also lives in prison. Can you imagine? It's a double blow for him. The torture that that is undergoing because, Pre-judgment detention in itself is torture. He's been punished now. He's been denied bail, so punishment is being meted out to him before if the court even finds him guilty. So psychologically, the man is challenged. Now, over and above that, his lawyer passes away. He has gone a long way with his lawyer. The prosecution case is about to end. How then do you expect Muzi Sibiya, an unsophisticated man like Muzi Sibiya, an ordinary man like Muzi Sibiya, to make such a fundamental decision about his life and give him 2 days to do that? Look at it this way. I mean, this sounds like a joke to me sometimes. Muzi Sibiya was apparently given 2 days, and the 2 days ended yesterday, which was Friday. And yet the legal aid board, right? Okay, the legal aid board was due to close for Christmas yesterday. But the legal aid board is never closed. The case has been postponed to the 20th of January. So Muzi Sibiya has got from now onwards until the 20th of January. Not only to do what? Not only to internalize, right? And come to terms with the fact that he has lost his lawyer, right? His lawyer of choice, the late advocate Thulani Mgomezulu, right? Now he has got to make a fundamental decision as to, who do I get to represent me, right? And because Muzi Sibiya is financially, incapable of, footing the bill for his legal representation, he is now being put under unnecessary pressure because the legal aid board will pay his lawyer, the appearance fees and so on. So he is put in a tight corner that you do this before Friday. What kind of justice? Who's hurrying where here, right? The case, like I said earlier on, has been postponed to the 20th of January. Why all the rush? Why all the rush? When the man is undergoing such tremendous, mental strain, right? He will not even have the opportunity of attending his lawyer's, funeral this morning. He will not have that opportunity. He can only mourn and cry, right? And say whatever prayers he wants to say to his maker in jail. In jail. That is very stressful. That is very stressful. Nobody, wants to, put himself in this man's shoes. And if we were to do that, then you'd really appreciate what I'm talking about. So I think this is a huge injustice that is being visited on Muzi Sibiya. And I would have expected some of the lawyers, who are representing some of the defense witnesses to have said to the judge, but we think what Legal Aid South Africa is doing is not the right thing. Why should this man be pressurized, to ensure that he gets in touch with the Legal Aid Board within a period of 2 days? We don't want hurried justice here. We want proper justice. We want proper justice, right? And we have always said justice, must be seen to be done, right? It must not only be done. We are not just going to go through the motions of a trial, which is attended by a lot of unfairness, and then just rush through it and say to ourselves, oh, well, we had a trial, so-and-so was found guilty. We must ensure that a trial is fair and is manifestly fair. It is manifestly fair, right? So what Muzi is being subjected to is something which I really, from the bottom of my heart, I condemn from the bottom of my heart. Those involved should know better. And I'm calling upon them. I'm calling on the Legal Aid Board to be fair to Muzi Sibiya. Give Muzi Sibiya a chance, to recover from the blow of the loss of his legal representative. and to make the necessary decision, in a reasonable period of time. And 2 days, in my view, can never, under any circumstances, be said to be reasonable. Because you see, this kind of treatment, furthermore, fuels concerns that, there is a lot of unfairness on the accused as far as this trial goes. Every accused person is entitled to have a fair trial. Every accused person is entitled, right, to have legal representation, right, to consult freely and be given time to do so, and properly. Is Muzi Sibiya being given this opportunity? He is not. He is not. So a hard decision has been made by the Legal Aid Board now, you see, because Muzi Sibiya is dependent on the money that they are going to pay the legal representative who's going to appear there. Now they are even, giving him ultimatums that you do this by Friday. So Muzi Sibiya has got no option but to, abide by whatever they dictate to him, because he has got no alternative. Justice is for sale in this country. I dare, clutch my hands like this and say, this is a classic example of justice being for sale. Because your uncle can no longer to pay your legal fees, you are now in the hands of legal aid. And legal aid infringes on a fundamental right to legal representation and says to you, get that lawyer, get that replacement lawyer, get that substitute lawyer in 2 days. And you have got no say in the whole matter. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up without legal representation. South Africa, is this justice? Is this what the constitution of this country envisages? So we've got to focus on the accused person, especially when we have doubts about their guilt. It is obvious that there's a huge doubt about the guilt of the accused, because there exist 2 dockets here, 375 and the other docket. Right? There are 2 dockets. One says there were intruders into the house, and the other docket says there were no intruders into the house. So Muzi Sibiya's guilt or innocence hangs in the air on that score alone. Now, as we go through the motions of a trial, we must not forget this, that Muzi Sibiya needs to be afforded an opportunity to secure legal representation and be given enough time to do that. This should have been objected to. I stand by my words. There should have been an objection, or the lawyers involved should have brought this to the attention of the judge. Where are we all hurrying to? Where are we all hurrying to? It's like we just want to, come up with a Mickey Mouse trial and, get people convicted and, or all go home. It should not be like that. It should not be like that. We need to see justice in motion and proper justice. Having said that, let me thank you once more for the subscriptions which are just flowing in, and the views are flowing in like the lovely Vaal River. I love the Vaal River. I was born on the banks of the Vaal River. Thank you very much, South Africa. Please keep on supporting this initiative. And some of us we are up to the task. We will hold this baton, come what may. Having said that, thank you and have a nice day.